Excellent points, Mike. Just excellent points. Let's start getting into these video clips because I want to take some calls and also shotgun through some other news. In Houston, they're proposing cameras in citizens' homes. That's Houston Chronicle and local TV. Just out, England says if parents are going to be allowed to have kids, that all the homes will have a camera that Child Protective Services watches 24 hours a day. This is mainstream news out of KFYI television. It's mainstream news out of other major publications. In fact, guys, pull up on screen, UK government to install surveillance cameras in private homes. And then, because I didn't print the whole story, reprint it for me. And link through to the mainstream news article they linked to. The mainstream media is with a straight face reporting that we have to have cameras in our houses now. That's what this textbook says. All children will be taken at birth and raised in government facilities. Most will be sterilized. Only a select few will be tested and allowed to have children. I mean, this is the scientific dictatorship. The government is in competition with the family, with everything. These are control freaks. What is total Pentagon domination? It's the end of the family. Everyone with shaved heads, THX-1138, Brave New World. All those movies, all those books, the writers of them admitted it all came from this stuff. This is real. You cannot underestimate the power and the darkness and the evil of these people. Okay, but that's coming up. Let's go ahead and go to the first clip here. Here is the Citizens Saturday, 2 miles from where I sit, at the Randalls off Brody, sitting there, and he's trying to leave. He has just said, I don't care if you're all against it. I'm going to vote for the health care. Here it is. Chasing out in the parking lot. Keep it going. Now look, that's the majority of the people. That is the majority of the people. And my neighbor said it was almost the entire crowd. I mean, look at this. Hundreds of people, and they're all against him. They're sick of his crap. Now, the media says this is a mob, this is fake, this is staged. It was not staged. It was not fake. Let's play another clip now. Let's go ahead and play Castle. Now, whether you believe in the birther thing or not, and Mike doesn't, I'm just looking at it. I agree with him. It looks like it's suspect, but I'm not against those that are looking at it, though. Here is Congressman Castle. Now, I've talked to the guy that shot this video. Turns out he's a listener. He's sending us the raw footage. He said 85, 90% of the crowd were booing and yelling at him on other issues before this. This is nonpartisan. They're just, nothing they say is believed. Here it is.
Congressman Castle, I want to know, I have a birth certificate here from the United States of America saying I'm an American citizen with a seal on it, signed by a doctor, with the hospital administrator's name, my parents, my date of birth, the time, the date. I want to go back to January 20th, and I want to know, why are you people ignoring his birth certificate? He is not an American citizen. He is a citizen of Kenya. I am American. My father fought in World War II with the greatest generation in the Pacific Theater for this country. And I don't want this flag to change. I want my country back.
Okay, hit pause. When we come back, we'll finish like 30 seconds. Then he says, I believe Obama's a real citizen. They all booing. Now what? Regardless of what you think of the birther issue, the people don't buy anything these crooks say. Mike Rivero, stay with us. The good old folks at New Silver Solution. And the website is supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. This is something that kills bacteria, viruses, you name it, well documented. They've got it down to a super small, nano-sized particle, supernaturalsilver.com. Check them out at Infowars.com. Hey, a lot of people are talking about Governor Ventura's conspiracy TV show coming out. It is going to be airing on Truth TV, and I'm going to be interviewed for some of the episodes. So can't wait to be on TV with Jesse Ventura. Certainly fighting the New World Order, ladies and gentlemen. And we got Mike Rivero with us for 30 minutes into the next hour. We do have William that shot the footage you're seeing popping in for a couple of minutes in the next segment. Just another witness. This is nonpartisan. The people don't believe anything the government says. Here it is. The rest of it, where they're booing him.
One comment that invites if you're referring to the president there, he is a citizen of the United States.
And then it goes on from there. The majority of the crowd booing. Now, Mike, after our guest leaves us, we'll talk about the birther issue, because I know you've been critical of it. We posted your articles up on Infowars.com, the WhatReallyHappened.com stories. But regardless, again, this is illustrating what you said. People aren't buying anything. If government said the sky was blue and that water was wet and that Keebler elves like cookies, people wouldn't believe it now.
And you're absolutely right. And the problem is the government has lied to the people so many times now that if there were a real, genuine emergency, the government cannot govern us because we're not going to go along. We don't dare take the risk of being made fools of again. And this is a government which is no longer effective. They've ruled us with deception and trickery so long, we don't want to fall for it any longer. If something really bad really did happen and the government tried to marshal the American people in a given direction, even for their own good, it's not going to work because they've lost the trust of the American people. And this means even in the best of intentions, this government cannot function any longer.
Well, Mike, that's my next question I want your take on. We open the phones up. I want to understand this from the listeners, from their perspective. Mexico, North Korea, just because people lose faith doesn't mean that the elites get kicked out, just the society collapses. And the elite look like they know that's going to happen, and they're just going to own the police state and be in power in their armored compounds. But this is different. Our history is different. We're armed. We have this history of freedom. This is going to be an explosive mix, Mike. I don't think we're going to end up like Mexico. I think it's going to end up being an absolute bloodbath.
Well, I tend to lean toward another direction. I agree we're not going to end up like Mexico or North Korea. We could see a revolution hopefully as fast as the one in Romania. But I really do think ultimately that we're going to see the U.S. government basically collapse the way the USSR did with very little bloodshed.
I hope so.
And I really do hope that that is our final outcome. But if there is going to be a bloody revolution, I think it'll be over as quickly as the one in Romania was.
Well, you know, the issue is the enemy has seen what they're doing. They're sociologists, they're psychologists, and they're gearing up, it seems, wanting to have a fight. And, I mean, I don't have some macho strain in me that wants to go out and go up against a bunch of tough guys who are into that, because I know what's going to happen to me and them. I don't know if the tough guys realize this, that fighting people on the right is not like chasing some bank robbers around or going after some meth heads. And when they start trying to break up families and send people to camps, I would not want to be the FBI HRT. I would not want to be the local military. I mean, history actually shows that a highly armed guerrilla force will just smash them.
Well, I'd like to respond to that. First of all, if we let the government decide when a violent confrontation is going to take place, we will lose it because the government is going to basically control the high ground and they're going to control the decision-making. But in the end, we, the American people, don't need to march into Washington, D.C. to defeat the federal government, because along with all of that incredible debt, we've got all this foreign investment here in the United States that stays here only because the government has convinced investors it's safe here. So all a revolution has to do to win, they don't have to conquer, they just have to survive, the way Castro did in Cuba.
I just want them to get off our back. I mean, they've got us. They've got us cornered, attacking us.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
Ron Paul was on with us last week. He's on with us for 30 minutes tomorrow. So's Steve Quayle for 2 hours on the flu. A bunch of other medical doctors coming on as well tomorrow and the next day to discuss it. Ron Paul's a medical doctor as well. We're going to call him William. He put up the Castle video. That's the Spectre video. I told the guys to put the Spectre up, but I'm wrong, guys. Go ahead and put the Castle video back up. This is Congressman Castle at a town hall meeting in Delaware. This was a bipartisan crowd, and the issue is Tea parties, Republicans, Democrats get booed off the stage. Governor Rick Perry, Senator Cornyn. We're going to play those videos coming up to illustrate that this is bipartisan being booed off the stage. And people are now trying to say this was staged with Castle. So we've got the radio listener of this show, William, on. And William, I would challenge you to just put more of the raw video up to show it's other people in the crowd booing on other issues. Why do you think the establishment is so desperate to make it look like the majority of Americans aren't upset?